And we are back with mixed doubles. I'm Kerry.
And I'm Matt.
So right after the players leave the heat in the desert of Indian Wells, they head directly into the scorching humidity of Miami at the Sony Open. Last year, to many people's disappointment, neither Nadal or Federer played in this tournament. This year, however, the lineup was stacked with all of the big hitters. Nadal, who has won 26 Masters titles to date, has been a finalist at the Sony Open on 3 different occasions now, but has never actually lifted the trophy, which, when looking at Nadal's statistics, seems kind of mind-boggling that he hasn't taken the gold even once in Florida. So, did he manage to break that streak and take the title this year? Nope. It came down to him and Djokovic, so a shocker, rising the two of them in a final against each other. How abnormal. And ultimately, Djokovic took him down to bump that number of lost finals at the Sony Open for Nadal up to 4. Nadal and Djokovic have a very long-standing rivalry. It's always a toss-up as to who's going to win when they play each other. You just never know with the two of them, and their matches are generally long and very close. Not this time, though. In their 40 encounters, this may have been the most lopsided match that they have ever played. Djokovic took Nadal out 6-3, 6-3 in a quick hour and 23-minute long match. So, congratulations, Novak, as he is now one of the few players in history to win the trophy consecutively at Indian Wells and then right after at Key Biscayne.
And let's talk about some interesting things at this tournament on the men's side. Nishikori taking out Federer. Federer had a big lead over Nishikori, but Nishikori came back to advance to the semis against Novak Djokovic. That was a big win for him, one that definitely caught people's attention. That was, it was a fun match to watch. Nishikori is one of those, he reminds me of the Frenchman Gilles Simon, because anyone who moves well against Roger Federer gives him problems. So Roger's always able to exploit somebody if you're weak moving on your right side or left side of the court, but if you're just a good mover altogether and have good footwork, you give him problems because you're not going to go away. And so Nishikori, good footwork, good mobility, just all over the court getting to every ball. And I think got Roger a little bit frustrated. So unfortunately, the day of the semifinal match, though, Nishikori had to pull out due to groin injury, allowing Djokovic to walk over into the finals.
Something actually that was ironic about this tournament in particular was that Nadal was also set to face Thomas Berdych in the semis, but Berdych, also the day of the match, pulled out due to illness, allowing Nadal also a walkover to the finals. So that was definitely an unusual situation, giving both our number 1 and number 2 players plenty of time to rest up for the big day.
Yeah, sucks if you had tickets for the semis and you didn't get to watch
what
the semis.
a bummer for spectators, right?
Yeah, glad I wasn't there. Glad it wasn't me.
But how strange for both semifinalists to pull out. And allowing, just, I mean, has it ever, I don't know if that's ever happened before.
That's just a rarity. I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Interesting, that was
before.
Definitely one odd thing that happened at this tournament.
And another noteworthy match, the infamous erroneous call by the umpire in the matchup between Andy Murray and Novak Djokovic in the quarterfinals. Murray claimed that Djokovic had broken a rule during a crucial point when his racket came over the net. Ultimately, the umpire ruled in Djokovic's favor.
Right over and then continue. That's what I've seen. Hitting over and then continue. What I have seen.
You can see it on the replay.
But I cannot see
His racket was over the net.
Exactly. Over here is fine.
His racket was over the net.
Over the net is fine. The problem is he cannot hit the ball the other side.
He said
over
his
here is
racket
fine.
was over the net. Over the net.
Over, not the other side. On top of the net.
What is he talking about though?
Andy actually still even tried to contest this after the umpire ruled against him, and he walked up to the net and he directly challenged Novak. Novak responded with a bit of a shrug and kind of a sheepish smile, and he said that he didn't really realize he had broken any rules. So ultimately, Murray lost the dispute and the match. The pivotal ruling against Murray, who was the defending champion at Key Biscayne, helped Djokovic win 7-5, 6-3. Later, it was realized after looking over video footage that Murray was indeed correct and that Djokovic had broken the rules. Video footage shows that Novak's racket was on the far side of the court when he hit the ball, which is against the rules. So the point should have therefore been awarded to Murray, which is really a huge bummer for Murray, and I'm sure extremely frustrating because after that call, he seemed flustered and he lost several points in a row to ultimately concede the set. I mean, to then find out later after he loses a match that he was right, I would have been kind of pissed.
Yeah, I think that should have been a no call. I think his gripe was that he reached over the net. If you look at the replay, and we have it here for you, but if you look at the replay, Murray's ball wasn't even going to go over the net from the angle that we have. It wasn't even going to go over. So, but Djokovic, I think, was just trying to play it off. The argument the umpire was saying is that it was a continuation. So his volley started on Djokovic's side of the net, but then when he finished the continuation of the swing, it ended up on the other side. Murray's saying he already reached over the net
when he made contact
with the ball. So that was his gripe, but messed him up mentally, ended up going on serving a love game. Djokovic breaks, ends up winning the first set 7-5, and then goes on to win the match.
Right, and unfortunately with things like this, they can't go back to video footage so quickly to look at it like they can with line calls. So
yeah, I think Djokovic was trying to be, have a cute play on that, and
he was funny. He's like, is that a rule? Yeah. I don't know. I didn't know that was a rule that you couldn't reach over and make contact with the ball on the other side.
Yeah.
You played it off like that.
I'm only a professional tennis player, but I don't know the rules,
That was kind of funny.
And another noteworthy match to talk about is another up-and-comer that is worthy of showing some love is Canadian Milos Raonic. Raonic achieved his first career quarterfinal at the Sony Open as he came through on a fourth match point to defeat Benjamin Becker 6-3, 6-4 in the fourth round. He then went on to lose to Nadal in the quarters.
I definitely think a lot like Dimitrov, Raonic is another one to watch, to keep your eye on.
Yeah, he's a fun player. He's a big guy, so he's big serve, heavy hitter. Yeah, like 6'5". Good ball striker.
Yeah, definitely. The biggest difference between men and women's tennis right now seems to be the staggering difference between the top men's and women's players. On the men's side, there are a lot of strong contenders, but on the women's side, there's Serena, and then there's everyone else. Yeah. She dominates the stats by a landslide. When going into a tournament, the biggest hurdle for women players to overcome is almost 100% the force that is Serena Williams. Now, Sharapova and Williams, who have both achieved a career Grand Slam and held the #1 ranking, were expected to develop this, great rivalry in women's tennis, but it hasn't really worked out that way. Williams has dominated the series, winning 15 of their 17 career meetings, including the last 14. Sharapova hasn't beaten Williams in almost a decade at this point. There really just isn't any female player that can compete with Serena. It kind of feels like we're gonna have to wait for her to retire until we see more competition for the trophies and the #1 spot on the women's side.
Yeah, it's gotta be quite a difference. We talked about Indian Wells last week, and then talking about Miami, it's night and day. When Serena doesn't play a tournament, we had Flavia Pennetta winning the tournament. 32-year-old Flavia Pennetta. Kudos to her.
Right.
But again, you don't think, oh yeah, Pennetta. Oh yeah.
You don't know who's gonna win when Serena's not playing. When Serena's playing,
it's a sure bet. And she only dropped one set to Caroline Garcia in Miami, who played a phenomenal match and mixed up the points and kept Serena moving. But if you don't do that, she's just gonna dominate.
It's almost getting boring to watch. Like, oh, really? Serena won another tournament. What do you know?
But I mean, it's history. It's history in the making. So.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens after she retires. Until then. So, on that note, Serena went on to defeat Li Na in this year's Sony Open to win her record-setting 7th title in Key Biscayne. With this win, she surpassed the tournament record of 6 titles, which she had previously shared with Andre Agassi.
Li Na became the first Chinese woman to reach the Key Biscayne semifinals when she beat Caroline Wozniacki 7-5, 7-5. Li then went into the semis to take on familiar opponent Dominika Cibulkova. Cibulkova had previously erased 3 match points in the second set to beat Agnieszka Radwanska. Radwanska again, pack your bags, we're going to Choke City.
Woo! Gotta love that place.
Yeah.
Na and Cibulkova have now met 3 times already this year, in Australia, at Indian Wells, and again here at the Sony Open. Unfortunately, Cibulkova hasn't been able to take the title in any of their matchups. She's been close, yet so far away.
Yeah, and on the doubles side, the Bryan brothers won again on the men's. Surprise, surprise. But on the women's side, veteran Martina Hingis, yes, she's back playing doubles, paired up with Sabine Lisicki and successfully dominated their competition. It's definitely a nice mix to see Hingis back out there playing on the double circuit and taking home some more trophies. I'm sure the other ladies don't like that, but welcome back.
Yeah, nice work. Nice work, ladies. Something slightly out of the ordinary that happened this year at the Sony Open, there was a bomb scare. A suspicious package was found at the main entrance of the tennis stadium. Miami police locked down the facility, preventing anyone from entering or leaving for quite some time while they scoured the venue and carefully disassembled the suspicious package. To everyone's relief, it was just a false alarm, but it's pretty disturbing stuff that these days people are on such high alert for terrorism that something as small as a misplaced package can cause such alarm. Anyways, in the end, all is well in the tennis world and everyone is safe. So don't forget to email us at the address on the screen if you have any questions or topics that you want us to cover in future episodes. But now it's time for me to show Matt who really is boss on the tennis court, so.
Never happened.
Bye.
Never happened. See ya.
See ya.